Agent Muriel Green, who is dead. Age 29. Brown hair, dark eyes. Dark hair, brown eyes. A+. Muriel Green was born into a normal middle-class family in Washington. After the tragic death of her farmer in a traffic accident, little Muriel began to act strangely. She would talk to the wall or the armchair and told her mother private things that only her father had known. In the beginning, this occurred very sporadically, but gradually the situation worsened, and her mother, who took her to several child psychologists, who tried to unsuccessfully treat her, was driven mad. The phenomenon seemed to lessen in intensity, only to return during her adolescence with a vengeance. Muriel experienced more and more intense episodes. She seemed possessed. Her eyes rolled back into her head, and she spoke in voices of others. Miss Green plunged into deep depression, became an alcoholic, and committed suicide using barbiturates. Wait, what? Muriel Green became... Oh, Miss Green, her mother, plunged into deep depression, became an alcoholic, and committed suicide using barbiturates. I don't know what the fuck that is. Muriel Green became a ward of the state because of her violent episodes. She was placed in a reform school. The teachers in charge of her schooling believed she was suffering from paranoid schizophrenia. Reports of Green's strange behavior were not missed by the DOW, who got in contact with Muriel. Tests confirmed the development of a sixth sense. After a short training period, Muriel Green entered the DOW as an investigator of paranormal. Her first go-to fieldwork took her to Chechnya, where she was under the supervision of Paul Rawlings. They never separated during the several African and European campaigns, and at the beginning of the 21st century, she was reassigned to a position at the Vigil Outpost, where she had been for the last few years. Recording the development of the breach. A few hours ago, Muriel Green warned Langley of the assault on the post. And the armed group of the Brotherhood of Dark Rapture, led by Arnold Leech. Shortly thereafter, an impenetrable storm, preceded by strong electromagnetic pulse, covered the area. It has not been possible to establish contact with the post since then. But now she's dead. Mangled beyond recognition. Arnold Leech. Wingspan. Yeah. Age, 58 years. Can't tell with that freakish body. Arnold Leech was recruited in 1962 as an invoker, a scholar of arcane books and forbidden texts. Leech was always obsessed with ancient gods and beings older than man, lacking scruples and a fan of Machiavellian methods, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, to achieve his goals. It soon became clear that with the knowledge of the DOW at his disposal, Arnold Leech was a potential threat to the very people he was supposed to protect. After several operations that ended in horrible disaster, Leech was expelled from the department. Secretly, his elimination was authorized. It was a slaughter. Hundreds of civilians died when Leech, perhaps having been warned, caused several space-time rips in a packed shopping center in Dallas. This created an opening for unspeakable abominations that spread chaos and destruction, cutting short the lives of several Jericho operatives before being controlled. For a time, it was thought Arnold Leech had perished in the incident or been dragged into another dimension. A few years later, the Brotherhood of the Dark Rapture appeared. At first, nobody paid attention. There were so many sects with apocalyptic tendencies that they didn't pay attention. The brutal precision of the actions, however, the assassinations, the highly elaborate ritual executions, contrasted with the crude, massive attacks across the globe which had no apparent relation. A subsequent and more exhaustive investigation revealed the hand of an old friend behind these acts. Arnold Leech returned. Exactly what Leech intended with these actions is not known, since none of the sacrifices seemed to have any apparent purpose. No invocations, curses, or any type of ritual was associated with them. They might have been using a particular skill known as tantric spell, accumulating karma to release it all at once in a single evocation, when required. Given that Arnold Leech is a fanatical defender of the coming of the Firstborn to our world, his presence as Al-Klee can only be bad news. Deceased Devin Ross. Specialty, possession. In his unusual condition of spirit, Devin Ross can jump into or possess other team members. With this ability, he works like a psychic switchboard operator, matching the consciousness to one teammate with them to link their powers and control their body. During the debrief, the squad mates all related a similar experience to having Ross inside their heads. That of physically sharing each other's experiences, so that when one man was wounded, they all experienced his trauma. When another was in need of backup, the rest of them knew instinctively where to go and where to shoot. They all agreed that the sensation of having Ross inside their heads was very unpleasant, as they couldn't control their own body, being reduced to a passive spectator. Special abilities. Ross's body is gone, but his soul remains inside Delgado's body. Soon he discovers the ability to possess other teammates, as long as they let him, of course. Doing this, he can use their abilities and powers, still keeping his own innate healing arts, which is why everyone can heal each other. At least when Ross is in the body. Personality. Excuse me. Appreciates the irony of his situation, maintains a good sense of humor for a dead guy despite the situation. He's still a doubter, slowly going insane by his situation, trapped inside the mind of another person. Interesting.